Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I'm looking at another pen from Pens by Casey. I recently did a review of this, the Kimono model, and just like in that video, please excuse my voice. I'm literally filming these back to back and I've had some laryngitis and stuff, so I'm doing my best, but I really wanted to get these reviews filmed and out as soon as I could, ahead of the Melbourne Pen and Stationery Show on the 26th of October, 2025. I'll link to their website down below so you can get all the information about that. But today we are reviewing this. This is the Tokubetsu Zen Maryland model from Pens by Casey. Beautiful pen, really interesting pen, beautiful black resin there, and sort of these beautiful colored accents with white rings, round top. It's a gorgeous pen. I'm going to talk about the parts and features. We'll do a writing sample, and I'll talk about some pros and cons. Okay, so you can see this one is done with the gloss finish. When I reviewed the Kimono, that is the matte finish. You can just see the way the light plays on them slightly differently. Also the different sort of kinds of materials. As I said, this one has a rounded top and it's that sort of beautifully layered colored acrylic there that looks absolutely gorgeous. It kind of looks like a, some part of a Van Gogh or something like that. Then we get a white ring and then the cap, which swells to another colored band on the edge of the cap. A step down onto the barrel, which continues along a white ring, and then another rounded colored acrylic end band. Now, it is a twist cap pen, and this one comes off in about 1 2/3 turns. Reveals the colored acrylic section here, which looks absolutely incredible. Like, it's just gorgeous. There's a nice little gentle step down onto some smooth threads, the resin, then a white band, and then the resin section, which sort of tapers and flares ever so slightly there. And then we get a number 6 Yovo nib and plastic feed. I have it here in a medium, and it is awesome. It is a standard international cartridge converter pen, and a Schmidt converter is provided. All the finishing on this pen is really wonderful. The threads feel smooth. It's a nice designed pen. It doesn't post. Like, you can kind of get the cap on there and it just sort of sits, but I don't think it's designed to post. It is designed, however, to be a slightly smaller pen, after a lot of the pens from Pens by Casey being, kind of bigger pens. So after a show a couple of years ago, Casey decided to make some smaller pens, and this is one of those designs, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. It's got a great size in the hand, and I think that number 6 size nib is really well in proportion to the rest of the pen. As I said, smooth threads, nice balance in the materials, beautiful black resin, and then these lovely colored accents. Now, if you're not familiar with Pens by Casey, Casey Giddens over there is a wonderful Australian artisan pen maker who has been really well known for making incredible wooden pens and mixing woods with acrylics and things like that. And this is an all resin or acrylic pen, and it's a beautiful pen. And the quality of the workmanship here is second to none. Just beautiful, simple, clean lines, no clip, no roll stop, nothing like that. Simple, clean lines, and I really enjoy this pen model a lot. For the size comparison today, I've got the Lamy Safari, the Casey Giddens wooden burl pen there, which is fantastic. The Tokubetsu Zen, the Kimono model, which is debuting at the Melbourne Pen Show. I'll link to the review of this pen down below as well. And just because I had it sitting here, this is my Just Turnings fountain pen in the Force Awakens material. So I've just renamed this pen the Force Awakens. This is one of my favorite Australian pens. That matte finish is wonderful. But I just wanted to show that, like, just how sort of this particular pen from Casey there, it's a really nice little size. It's not small pen, it's not a pocket pen, but it's just slightly smaller than sort of standard pens, and it makes for a very comfortable writer. Uncapped, you can see it's not a super small pen. It's about the same size as the Lamy Safari, but in comparison to that Burlwood pen there, it is considerably smaller. It's about the same size as the standard Just Turnings pen, and a little bit longer there than the Kimono. Now, if you're someone who needs to post their pens, remember, this one doesn't post. Sorry, if you're after a pen by Casey or similar and you want one that does post, the Kimono definitely is designed to post, so that might be one worth checking out. Okay, let's talk specific dimensions. It's 137 millimeters when it is capped. It's 132 when it's uncapped. So, it's a decent size. It feels very comfortable in the hand because it's got a bit of a nice girth as well. It doesn't feel small. As I said, it doesn't post. You can kind of get it on there, but it really doesn't want to stay. Around the middle of the section is about 11 millimeters, and around the cap is about 16. This particular pen weighs about 21 grams, 15 in the body, 6 in the cap. Now, as I said, these are handmade individual pens. There's a couple of different versions, so the dimensions may vary slightly, and as I said, they're all handmade, so there'll be little differences pen to pen, but that is what this one comes in at, and that should give you a rough sort of idea of what you can expect. Okay, time for a writing sample with the pens by Casey. Tokubetsu Zen, Maryland. Now, this has a number 6 Yovo steel medium nib. Great thing about the Yovo nibs, of course, is that they're interchangeable. Casey over there has a range from of all the sort of standard sizes, so you can talk to him about what you're after, what you would like. But also, because it is a standard number 6 size, there are other options from Nibmeisters and things like that, just that you can explore. And, it opens up a big world of possibilities. Or you might just have a particular Yovo nib sitting around at home that you really, really love. Interchangeable, which is really, really great. The ink in this today is another Sailor Ink Studio. I love these Sailor Ink Studio inks. And this one is 967. This is such a great green. Now, I chose green. Now, looking at this, there's not a whole lot of green in the mix, and that's kind of why I chose it. There's blues and yellows and things like that. And I kind of thought it sort of matched in a nice sort of complementary way. Let's do some writing. Okay, so there's a hint of feedback on this nib, but I really quite like it. It's a very tactile experience writing with this nib. Like the double broad I have on the kimono here has such a massive sort of tipping on it there that, the writing on the page is so smooth and so wet. It glides, whereas this one, it's just a little more tactile, which I really enjoy. It's certainly not a dry writer, and reverse writing, it's very sharp, not so possible. Not a flex nib, but you can squeeze just ever so slightly, a little bit of variation out, going from that sort of finer medium line there to sort of a broader medium line. But it is on the finer side. It's a nice crisp medium, and I really enjoy writing with it. Let's do some quick writing. I have absolutely zero issue with this pen. There's never been ink starvation, there's never been hard starts, skips, anything like that. Like, Yovo nibs are pretty reliable. I really like them. Also, I know Casey doesn't let a bad nib leave his studio. So very, very keen on making sure that everyone gets a great writing experience. But also, just the tolerances of the pen allow it to be a great writer. I left this sitting in my pen case, inked up for a week, and the moment I started writing with it, it was writing beautifully, perfectly. So no issues with drying out, anything like that. It's just a beautifully constructed, well-made, well-designed pen with lovely tolerances and details, and a beautiful nib on it. So what's not to like? Okay, let's talk about price, but before we do, let's also understand this is an individually made, handcrafted artisan pen that takes hours and hours of work, has taken years of developing skills. It is an artisan piece, it is an individual piece, and by getting a pen like this, you are supporting an Australian pen maker doing awesome things. Okay. This pen retails at full price for about 300 Australian dollars, which I don't think is at all inappropriate in terms of price. I think it's a really, really great price point, given all the details that are in this pen. Now, if you do happen to go to the Melbourne Pen Show at the end of October 2025, Casey has said that they'll be selling them for a little less. So I think about 275 Australian, which makes it a very attractive prospect. But let's just keep in mind the work that goes into this. Each element of the pen has been glued and turned. So you've got the resin on the top, a band, you've got the resin, another band, you've got this section with bands and all the individual, parts of this all being turned and glued and set, and then the black resin, the white band, the colored resin, it's all been individually machined and then polished and taken beautiful care of, not to mention the fact that you actually have to know how to do all of that. It's a huge amount of effort. So 300 at full price, 300 Australian, I think is a very, very healthy price point. So what are my pros and cons? Well, it's hard to pick faults with pens like this. Firstly, because they are, as I believe them to be, little works of art in themselves. But if we're going to talk about some nitpicky things, firstly, the only issues I have are things that are not included in the design. For instance, a roll stop or a clip, and also the fact that it doesn't post. But it's not designed to, it's not designed to have a clip. That would ruin the lines of this really simple, clean, beautiful pen. But if those are things that you require, this isn't the pen for you. Look at other pens. As I said, the Kimono does post, so that might be a better option for you. So many pros. Artisan product, firstly, handmade from a wonderful Australian pen maker. I love this color scheme of the colored resins and the blacks and the gloss, and I think it's just beautiful having that colored section. It's like, you've got a cool looking pen, and then you open it up and suddenly, boom, there you are, this like swirls of colors. As I said, it sort of feels like a bit like a Van Gogh or something. It's wonderful and beautiful. I really like that. I love the super sturdy feel. Like, it's got a nice size in the hand. It feels robust. I don't know what kinds of resins and acrylics and things these are in terms of like the chemical makeup or whatever, but they feel robust. It feels strong. It's not going anywhere. The finishing is amazing. Like the tolerances, the lines, the smoothness of it all, it's just beautifully done. As I said, it goes into that artisan product once again, doesn't it? And then, of course, there's the nib and the writing experience of this pen. It's great in the hand, and the nib is beautiful on the page. And of course, because it's a Yova nib, number 6 Yova nib, as I said, it's interchangeable. So, if you wanted to go extra fine, medium, broad, some of those stub nibs, not to mention specialty nibs from, nibmeisters like Incision Works here in Australia, who does architects and, all those kinds of things, which are just absolutely fantastic. So you've got lots of options, and this is such a great little pen. I'm so happy to be looking at. This is one I actually purchased myself. I did get a little discount because, sort of putting it on the channel, all those kinds of things, but it is a pen I wanted to get. I saw it on Casey's Instagram and instantly knew I needed it. I had to wait months because I was on the road, and really looked forward to getting this pen when I got back. And it's been an absolute joy to write with, and one I'm going to continue to really enjoy having in my collection. So a big thank you to Casey for his support of the channel and encouraging me and sort of helping me make these videos. And thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, hit the notifications button, all that kind of stuff. If you've got products you think I should be looking at, or if there's a way you would like to support the channel, I would love to hear from you. In the meantime, enjoy your pens, enjoy writing, and I'll talk to you soon.